Well, here we go again for another GT7 video. Tonight we will be going over the settings and setup and guide and race preparation for the Clubman Cup Plus, the Mini Cooper race. For this race, it's very tedious. Well, it was very tedious for me to actually win. Did this race a couple times before I actually won. And I just wanted to show you guys exactly what I did, all the upgrades that I did to the vehicle. So as I mentioned, I did this race before, so on this sheet there are 3 sheets. So I'm going to the 350 sheet because this race is for PP 350 and less, and I'm using the sport hard tires on the Mini Cooper. So we're going through the details just to show you guys exactly what it is that was done. And one of the main things really that is necessary for this race is the tires and adding the ballast and the power reducer. So if you notice here, another thing that was done is for the transmission, and I'll show you in a bit. After adding the fully adjustable transmission, actually made changes based on recommendations to the gear ratios, so you can actually input these for your setup. It should help. One other thing, this is the setup for the ballast, set to 200. Ballast is just added weight to reduce the performance of the car. Shifted it to the front, and 83 for the power restrictor. I have a turbo, but not using it for this race because it would send the PP over the limit. And this is everything that was done to the engine, bore up, stroke up, and everything that was done to weight reduction as much as I possibly can to help the car move as fast as it can. You could also add nitrous. It's actually recommended that you add nitrous, but I didn't have the money to do the nitrous at the time, so I'm just gonna show you how it is that I won this race without nitrous. You would use the nitrous as on the straights for this race, and it would give much added advantage. But as mentioned, I didn't have nitrous when I did this race. Just did that setup and I won without it. And in the event that you don't have the money to add nitrous, because nitrous costs like $100,000, and this is the beginning part or the beginning stages, you may not have that kind of money in the beginning. So this is how you do it on a budget. So you're starting out 5th out of 8, and here we go. So one of the first things I try to do is get into a slipstream with the other cars, and while doing that I'm watching the rearview mirror up above for any other car trying to overtake, because one of the greatest thing other than getting into slipstreams, the second greatest thing you want to do is be as defensive as possible with the position that you have, and that would mean cutting off cars from behind to prevent them from passing you. Not very sportsmanlike, but winning is the aim here, and it has to be done at all cost. So if you notice that red car in the back, I was trying to cut him off, didn't get successful at that, caused a bit of a bump. I must say I did lose my composure on that corner, but it worked out great in the end as I take second place and trying to move into first. I was trying to cut the car off and lost place of where I was, ended up almost sliding off track, but ended up recovering the car, and here we are. So we're moving up. This is a stage where you'd use the NOS to gain and move past your opponent, one of these straights. But I don't have that, so I'm just using pure skill here and a bit of finesse. Trying to do an overtake here. Wasn't able to do it. Almost lost control, but ended up getting the car back stable. Was trying to do a take there, I wasn't able, so I immediately went into the slipstream to see if I can come up with a better plan to gain on this first place car. This is where I executed said plan and eased up off the gas a bit because the car was sliding over to the left, and got control of the car as well as first place. And at this point, once you gain first place, it's just a matter of being as defensive as you can. If you have NOS, you'd use it here on a straight to gain a little bit more distance from the rest of the pack. But if you're like me, no NOS, winning on a budget, you would ease up off the gas here, go around this corner and then back on gas, downshift to 4th from 5th. Here I got a bit overzealous on the brakes and it caused me to spin out a bit, but downshifted to get a bit more control, and here I am. That mistake almost cost me, because if you look in the rearview mirror you will see cars gaining, and that infamous red car is now trying to take the lead from me. I'm blocking as best as I can, being as defensive as I can of my first place position, and downshift here, went down to 3rd, and just trying to maintain speed coming to this corner, because losing speed at any point is going to be very detrimental in these final stages. And coming out of that S turn, which can be very tricky, if you manage to perfect that S turn, you will ultimately win this race. And that's how you gain first place in the Clubman Cup Plus Mini Cooper race. I hope this was helpful, especially the setup sheet for your vehicle. Again, you can add nitrous. In fact, I'd advise you to add nitrous just to gain a bit more advantage. And here we go, Gold Cup. Thanks guys for watching, and let me know if you need a bit more clarity or anything. See you in the next one.